Before we dive deep into the tipping points that can make your net worth explode, let me ask you a quick favor. If you enjoy learning about money, investing, and building a life of freedom, hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you don't want to miss the powerful strategies that can transform your financial journey. Every week, we share ideas that can literally put more dollars in your pocket. Now, let's begin with something crucial. Wealth never happens overnight. The people you see suddenly driving fancy cars or posting about their millions on social media, that didn't happen by magic. It's always the result of years of consistent decisions stacking up like bricks forming a solid wall. The explosion of net worth is a delayed reward, not an instant one. The first key idea to understand is that your financial growth follows a curve. In the beginning, progress feels slow, almost invisible. You might save a few $100s, invest a little, cut some costs, and wonder, why isn't my life changing yet? But here's the thing. Small numbers compound silently, waiting for the tipping points to arrive. Think of it like planting a tree. For a while you see nothing but a tiny sprout, but underneath the soil, roots are spreading, strengthening, preparing for massive growth. Your net worth works the same way. At first, it's hidden progress, but when the right conditions meet the right actions, things shoot upward faster than you ever imagined. And that's why we're here today, to reveal the 3 tipping points that cause your net worth to explode. These are the moments when money stops crawling and starts running, when progress accelerates beyond your expectations. If you've ever wondered when your efforts will finally pay off, this is the answer you've been looking for. But before we get to those points, let's set the stage. Many people quit too early because they don't understand how wealth actually grows. They assume that slow progress means failure, when in reality, it's just the warm-up. Imagine giving up right before the fireworks show starts. That's what most people do with their finances. The truth is, financial success is not linear, it's exponential. That means you might spend years in the boring phase where growth feels tiny. Then suddenly, boom, the curve bends upward and your results multiply. That shift doesn't come by luck. It comes by discipline, patience, and reaching the tipping points we'll uncover. So in this journey, I want you to think differently. Don't measure success only by how much you've saved this month or this year. Measure it by the systems you're building, the habits you're reinforcing, and the seeds you're planting. Because once the explosion happens, the numbers will shock you. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the very first tipping point, the moment your savings and investments begin to generate more income than your active efforts alone. That's where the magic begins, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. The first tipping point in building real wealth comes when your money begins to work harder than you do. At the start, it feels like you're carrying the entire load. Every dollar saved, every cent invested, it all depends on your personal effort. But then comes the breakthrough moment. Your assets begin to generate income on their own. That's when your wealth curve starts to bend upward. Imagine you're pushing a giant boulder uphill. At first, every step feels heavy, exhausting, and slow. But once you reach the top, gravity takes over, and the boulder starts rolling by itself. That's exactly how investments behave. For a while, you're doing all the pushing, but eventually, your money gains momentum and begins accelerating without you. This moment doesn't require millions of dollars. It requires patience and consistency. Let's say you've been diligently investing month after month. At first, your returns are small, almost invisible. But over time, those returns grow and start producing returns of their own. That's the magic of compounding, and it's the foundation of every great fortune. The real thrill comes when you realize your investments produced more money this month than the raise you fought for at work. Suddenly, your dollars are no longer just sitting there. They're out in the world working shifts, bringing back profits while you sleep. This is when money transforms from a tool into a teammate. Think about interest, dividends, or rental income. Each of these streams may seem small in the beginning, but they represent seeds of independence. At this tipping point, you don't just depend on your labor anymore. You've unlocked a second source of power that grows steadily, day after day. And here's the surprising part. Most people quit before this stage arrives. They withdraw savings, sell investments too early, or simply lose patience. It's like planting a field and walking away before the harvest. Wealth doesn't reward impatience. It rewards those who nurture the seeds long enough to see them bloom. The first tipping point is not about getting rich instantly. It's about crossing the invisible line where your capital begins to grow without constant input. The earlier you recognize this, the sooner you'll protect your investments and give them room to thrive. It's less about how much you start with and more about how long you let it work. Once you experience this tipping point, everything changes. Your mindset shifts from "how much can I save this month" to "how much can my money earn for me?" That small change in perspective is the foundation of financial freedom. It's no longer about surviving. It's about thriving. Now that we've uncovered the first tipping point, get ready for the second. This one is even more exciting because it's the stage where your income streams multiply and your financial growth moves from steady to unstoppable. And believe me, once you hit that phase, your net worth will start to look very different. If the first tipping point is when your money begins working for you, the second is when you stop depending on just one paycheck. This is the stage where your income streams multiply, giving you security, flexibility, and serious acceleration in your net worth. Relying on a single source of money is like standing on one leg. It's shaky. But when you add more legs, you build a stable table that can hold a lot more weight. Most people only know the traditional path: clock in, get paid, repeat. But wealth builders think differently. They understand that having only one paycheck is risky. What happens if the company closes or the market shifts? That's why they start creating extra streams: investments, side businesses, real estate, royalties, or even online ventures. Each one adds a layer of strength to their financial foundation. The beauty of multiple streams is not just in the extra cash. It's in the way they protect you. Imagine losing your job but still having rental income covering your bills, or picture your dividends paying for your groceries while your main paycheck covers the mortgage. Suddenly, life feels less stressful because you're no longer trapped by a single point of failure. This tipping point also brings confidence. When you see money flowing from different directions, you stop panicking about small setbacks. A car repair doesn't throw you off balance. An unexpected bill doesn't ruin your month. You begin to think bigger, plan longer, and invest smarter because you know your financial engine has more than one cylinder running. Here's where the magic happens. As each new stream grows, they start feeding one another. Profits from one business might be invested into stocks, which pay dividends, which then help fund another project. It's like creating a financial ecosystem where everything supports everything else. That's when momentum kicks in and growth becomes exponential. And don't fall into the trap of thinking multiple streams are only for the rich. Today, technology allows almost anyone to start a side hustle, an online shop, or even invest with small amounts of money. The key is not waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time is now, and the sooner you start, the sooner those streams can begin flowing. The second tipping point doesn't just expand your income, it changes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as just an employee and start seeing yourself as an investor, an entrepreneur, a wealth builder. And once your mindset shifts, your actions follow, pushing your net worth to levels you didn't think possible. This is also the stage where freedom begins to feel real. When your bills can be covered without depending solely on your 9 to 5, you're no longer chained to a job you dislike. You can make choices based on passion, not desperation. That's the power of multiple streams. They buy you options. So once your money's working and you've created several streams, you're already far ahead of most people. But the real explosion, the game-changing third tipping point, comes when your wealth begins to create wealth on an entirely new scale, and that's exactly what we'll explore next. Chapter 4. The third tipping point. Wealth creates wealth. The third tipping point is the most powerful of all. It's when your existing wealth begins to create new wealth on a scale you've never seen before. This is the stage where your assets become so strong, so productive, that they generate opportunities you couldn't access before. It's no longer about just saving or earning. It's about wealth multiplying wealth. At this stage, you don't just invest. You get invited into deals. You don't just buy stocks. You might own parts of businesses. You don't just rent out a property. You leverage that property to acquire another, doubling your cash flow. Wealth opens doors that are simply invisible when you're operating with only a small amount of money. The momentum here is breathtaking. Your investments are big enough to produce significant returns, which then get reinvested, creating even larger results. This is compounding on steroids. You're no longer adding zeros slowly. Your zeros start multiplying. That's when your net worth curve looks less like a hill and more like a rocket launch. Another thing happens here. People begin to view you differently. Banks offer you better rates, businesses approach you with partnerships, and opportunities start chasing you instead of the other way around. It's like stepping into a different financial universe, where the rules suddenly favor you because of the assets you've built. And here's the most exciting part. Your money starts to solve problems at scale. For example, instead of worrying about paying bills, you're now funding projects, building companies, or even helping communities. Wealth at this stage is not just about personal freedom, it's about influence and impact. But let's be clear, this tipping point doesn't come by luck. It's the result of discipline through the earlier stages. You can't jump straight to creating wealth without first building the habits of saving, investing, and diversifying your income streams. The good news is, once you arrive here, the process feels almost unstoppable. Think about billionaires. Most of them didn't get rich because of one lucky break. They reached a level where their existing wealth was large enough to create endless new opportunities. At that point, the snowball rolling down the hill has turned into an avalanche. That's the explosive moment we're talking about. The third tipping point is also where you finally achieve true financial freedom. Not just the ability to quit your job, but the power to live life on your terms without fear of money ever running out. That's when you realize your net worth isn't just numbers, it's a tool to design your future. So now, we've revealed all three tipping points: when your money works for you, when income streams multiply, and when your wealth begins to create more wealth. But knowing them is only half the battle. The real question is, how do you prepare yourself to reach them? That's what we'll uncover in the next chapter, Chapter 5, Preparing for the Explosion. Now that you understand the three tipping points, the next step is making sure you're ready for them. Because here's the truth, not everyone who saves or invests actually reaches these stages. Why? Because they fail to build the systems, habits, and mindset that prepare them for explosive growth. Think of it like building a rocket. You don't just light the fuse, you design it to handle the launch. The first preparation is discipline. Wealth doesn't reward people who act on emotions. It rewards those who follow consistent routines. Whether it's automatic savings, monthly investments, or setting a strict budget, discipline creates the foundation. Without it, even the most powerful tipping point won't sustain you. The second preparation is education. You can't just throw money around and hope it grows. You need to understand markets, opportunities, and risks. The people who succeed are the ones who study, who ask questions, and who never stop learning. Every book, podcast, or course you consume is like adding fuel to your financial rocket. Third comes patience. This might be the hardest part. We live in a world that wants everything now, instant gratification. But the tipping points take time to reveal themselves. The years you spend waiting aren't wasted. They're the years where compounding quietly works in the background. Patience isn't just a virtue here, it's a requirement. Fourth is adaptability. The financial world changes constantly. Interest rates, stock markets, new technologies, and even global events. If you're rigid, you'll break. If you're flexible, you'll bend and keep moving forward. Adaptability is what allows your journey to continue, even when the road shifts beneath your feet. The fifth preparation is mindset. Too many people sabotage themselves by believing wealth is not for them. They think they're destined to struggle because of where they came from. But wealth doesn't care about your background. It cares about your actions. If you believe you can't, you won't. If you believe you can, you'll find a way. The sixth preparation is protection. As your money grows, so do the risks. Insurance, legal planning, and proper diversification become essential. Explosive net worth without protection is like a castle without walls. Impressive, but vulnerable. Protecting your wealth ensures you keep what you've worked so hard to build. The seventh is community. Surround yourself with people who push you forward, not those who pull you down. If your friends only complain about money, you'll stay stuck. But if you connect with investors, entrepreneurs, and mentors, their energy and knowledge will lift you higher. Wealth is contagious when you're in the right circle. Finally, the eighth preparation is action. None of this matters if you don't move. Too many people wait for the perfect time that never comes. The truth is, the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today. Action beats intention every single time. With these preparations, you won't just stumble upon the tipping points, you'll be ready to harness them. And in the final chapter, we'll bring it all together, showing how to turn this knowledge into a clear roadmap that leads directly to your financial explosion. Chapter 6, Your Roadmap to Explosive Growth. We've traveled through the journey of net worth, from the slow grind of early savings to the thrilling explosion at the third tipping point. Now, it's time to tie everything together and give you a clear roadmap. Because knowledge without direction is like having a car but no map. You won't get very far. Let's design the route that leads straight to financial freedom. Step 1 is clarity. You can't hit a target you can't see. Define your goals. Do you want to retire early, build a business, travel the world, or simply live without money stress? Clarity acts as your GPS. It guides every choice you make. Without it, you'll drift aimlessly, and drifting rarely leads to wealth. Step 2 is building momentum. Remember, small wins create big wins. Save that first $100. Invest that first $1,000. Cut that first unnecessary expense. Momentum grows like a snowball. Once it starts rolling, it picks up speed and size. The earlier you start rolling yours, the sooner it becomes unstoppable. Step 3 is hitting the tipping points in order. Don't skip steps. First, focus on making your money work. Then, multiply your income streams. Finally, allow wealth to generate wealth at scale. Each tipping point prepares you for the next. Skipping ahead is like building the roof before the foundation. It collapses. Step 4 is tracking progress. Numbers don't lie, but our brains often do. We underestimate progress, forget wins, and panic over small setbacks. By tracking your net worth, income, and growth consistently, you'll see proof that the curve is bending upward, even when it feels slow. Tracking is motivation in numbers. Step 5 is reinvestment. When extra income arrives, resist the temptation to splurge. Instead, feed it back into your system. Reinvestment accelerates the journey, shortening the time between tipping points. Remember, every dollar spent can only serve you once, but every dollar reinvested can serve you forever. Step 6 is gratitude. It might sound soft, but being grateful for progress keeps you grounded. Wealth without gratitude often leads to emptiness, but when you appreciate each stage, you enjoy the process as much as the result. Gratitude transforms wealth from a chase into a journey worth living. Step 7 is teaching. The best way to reinforce what you've learned is to share it. Teach your kids, your friends, or even strangers online. By spreading financial literacy, you strengthen your own. And let's be honest, what's the point of explosive net worth if you can't inspire others to build theirs too? Step 8 is never stopping. Financial freedom is not a finish line, it's a lifestyle. Once you hit the tipping points, keep building, keep growing, and keep adapting. The world will always change, but if you continue the habits that got you here, your wealth will keep expanding long after you've reached your goals. So here's your call to action. Start today. Plant the seeds, push the boulder, and prepare for the explosion. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because this journey doesn't end here. We'll keep guiding you every step of the way. Your net worth explosion is coming, and when it does, it will feel like the breakthrough you've been waiting for your whole life.